Good evening. We meet again on 7Edition. I'm Sabrina Zaino, and these are the headlines. Malaysia and China resume construction of ECRL project. Authorities seize 18 luxury supercars worth 4.7 million ringgit. And cops arrest 2 individuals over Sungai Selangor diesel pollution. We begin the bulletin with this story. 2 individuals have been arrested in connection with the Selangor pollution, which caused a water supply disruption to Klang Valley residents. They have been remanded for 4 days to assist in investigations. Selangor Police Chief Datuk Nur Azam Jamaluddin said one of the men detained is known to be the person who had lodged a police report earlier. He claimed that the anglers who were seen fishing near the pontoon opened the cover of a fuel tank just before the contamination happened. However, there are no elements of gangsterism found during their investigations. The diesel pollution mishap, which occurred 6 kilometers away from the water treatment plant, forced the Sungai Selangor phases 1, 2 and 3 and the Rantau Panjang water treatment plants to be shut down on Sunday. Meanwhile, saboteurs of Selangor's raw water treatment facilities could face harsh punishments, including death sentence. Water, Land and Natural Resources Minister Dr. Xavier Jayakumar explained the penalty is provided under the Water Services Industry Act.
The law is there, and we can use the law to the maximum. And under SPAN, the law is severe, even death penalty for people polluting the water purposely and if there is a danger to the population. So we have the laws that are there. It's just that which part of the law we want to use in order to curb and tell people that we are serious about these issues.
On Tuesday, police said the saboteurs may find themselves held under Security Offences Special Measures Act, SOSMA. That allows for detentions without trial and usually reserved for terrorist suspects. According to police, the diesel pollution at Sungai Selangor is seen as sabotaging a key infrastructure and a very serious offence. A Lamborghini, Ferrari and Mercedes. These were among 18 foreign registered luxury vehicles that were seized in Sarawak for evading customs duties. According to the Customs Department, they were valued at 4.7 million ringgit with an unpaid tax value totaling over 8 million. These vehicles were registered in Brunei and customs officers seized them from residential areas in Kuching and Samarahan early this month following a joint operation with the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission. Their owners were found to have breached item 13 of the customs duties exemption order by bringing in the vehicles for longer than the stipulated 3 months and using false vehicle permits. They were detained and later released on bails of between 5 to 10,000 ringgit each. No further details on who the owners of these luxury and supercars were, but the department believes that there are more similar vehicles in Sarawak and urged the public to come forward on any information. In the meantime, the Johor Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Ministry, KPDNHEP, has seized 150 packets of ghost smoke candy from a snack distributor in Masai. The items were seized on Tuesday as it has dubious labeling and the ingredients on the labels did not match the content in the packets. KPDNHEP is also investigating the halal logo that is displayed on the packaging when it was not approved by JAKIM. 132 premises were inspected before they finally traced it to the supplier. Some of the shops were near schools and were selling the packets for just 50 cents each. In the meantime, those with information of where the candy is sold can contact KPDNHEP. A viral video of students emitting cigarette-like smoke when eating the candy had previously gone viral, with parents calling for action to be taken. Moving on, a bomb threat forced police to seal off the court complex in Jalan Duta, Kuala Lumpur today. All proceedings were interrupted, including the corruption trial of Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak. The incident happened at about 12:30 p.m., where security personnel interrupted the proceedings, telling the public, lawyers and court staff to evacuate and gather outside the building. The former Prime Minister was seen leaving the compound 5 minutes later. A police bomb disposal squad with several tracker dogs later arrived to scour the premises. It is learnt that the Taman Tun Dr. Ismail police station received an anonymous phone call claiming there was a bomb in the court building. Next, two senior citizens whose remains were found in their house, which was on fire in Taman Desa Melati, Seremban last night, were murdered. According to police, several stab wounds and slashes were found on several parts of the bodies of the victims. Now, Negeri Sembilan Police Chief Datuk Muhammad Mat Yusof said bruise marks were also discovered on the hand and forehead of 73-year-old Tan Kim Ju. The body of his wife, Ng Chong Hua, aged 63, was discovered with 2 stab wounds on her chest and 1 slash wound on her hand. Police also found that the back door of the house was opened while the front door was locked when the bodies were discovered. They have yet to identify the motive of the murder and the suspects involved. The case has now been classified as murder. Six more Penang JPJ enforcement officers were charged with 40 counts of corruption at the Butterworth Special Sessions Court for receiving nearly 20,000 ringgit in bribes between 2015 and 2018. This brings the number of JPJ and SPAD officers charged for their alleged involvement in a lorry driver protection racket to 21. The accused were enforcement officers serving in Seberang Jaya and Batu Uban, Penang. All 6 pleaded not guilty. They faced charges under the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC Act, which provides for a jail term of up to 20 years and a fine not less than 5 times the amount of the bribe or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher if found guilty. In the first charge, they were accused of receiving a cash bribe from Ui Cheng Kiat, who is the director of Sun Lian Transport and Tire Sendirian Berhad, as well as TSR Transport Sendirian Berhad. The bribe was an incentive so that action would not be taken against the lorries of the companies. The court set September 12th for remention of the case. Malaysia and China have resumed construction of the East Coast Rail Link ECRL project, which was suspended for almost a year. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the rail project is a catalyst to spur development in the East Coast states, creating new industrial hubs that will offer plenty of jobs to locals, kick up commerce and boost tourism. The ECRL was revived following negotiations with China that will see the project resume at a price of 44 billion ringgit, a reduction of 21.5 billion from its original cost of 65.5 billion ringgit. Following the realignment of the revision, the rail line is now shortened by 40 kilometers to 648 kilometers, as it no longer tunnels through the Titiwangsa main range that borders Selangor and Pahang. The new line will go through 20 stations, 14 of which comprise passenger stations, 5 that cater for both passengers and cargo, and 1 for cargo purposes only.
Kita jangan terlalu hanya melihat kepada jumlah stesen seperti yang dikatakan oleh Yang Maha Berhormat. Apa yang lebih penting ialah bagaimana kita menambah nilai add-on values kepada projek ini, iaitu di sepanjang jajaran itu kita mengharapkan supaya lebih banyak pembangunan, terutamanya kawasan-kawasan perindustrian di sepanjang jajaran itu. Dan itu akan diusahakan secara bersama oleh semua pihak, MRL, CCCC dan juga bersama-sama dengan kerajaan-kerajaan negeri yang terlibat. Jadi itu adalah tambah nilai yang lebih penting, yang lebih sepatutnya kita berikan perhatian. Bukan saja dari segi jumlah stesen. Jumlah stesen walaupun dari segi secara keseluruhannya ada pengurangan, tetapi namun begitu kita telah membuat kajian. Stesen-stesen yang dikurangkan itu adalah stesen-stesen yang tidak ramai penumpang yang dianggarkan. Dan kalau stesen-stesen itu akan dijadikan sebagai yang tidak dibina itu akan dijadikan sebagai optional untuk masa hadapan. Apabila ada keperluan, ada permintaan meningkat, maka itu boleh dibina semula.
Project owner Malaysia Rail Link Sdn Berhad (MRL) said the ECRL is currently 10% complete after taking into account the change in alignment. With the rail project being revived, local contractors who were appointed before it was suspended will be called back to resume their work. In the meantime, LOC expects more foreign investment, especially from China, to pour in along the ECRL corridor as more sections of the line are completed. He also said the East Coast Rail Link Industrial Skills Training Program will continue to provide opportunities for aspiring youth who wish to work on the national project. Now, after manipulation and fraud were found in the Malaysian immigration system, or MyIMS, it will be replaced with a new integrated immigration system, IIS, to prevent the issues. Immigration Director General Datuk Khairul Zaimi Daud said the process of procuring the IIS has started and the successful vendor would be known by January next year. While the IIS is being developed, the MyIMS would continue to be used with some improvements made. Meanwhile, the Immigration Department has lodged a police report on the manipulation and fraud in the MyIMS, and the investigation is in progress. The matter came to light when the Auditor General's Report 2018 Series 1 revealed these issues, among others, in the system for foreign labour quota approval, resulting in losses of revenue to the country. Home Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin said action would be taken by the Immigration Department based on the findings of the Auditor General's report. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission has also set up a task force to investigate cases highlighted by the report.
In other news, 3 unemployed men were charged in the Pahang Temerloh Sessions Court with armed robbery of a petrol station in an incident that went viral after it was caught on CCTV. 25-year-old Muhammad Nazri Fadzi Rahman, Muhammad Nur Iskandar Amran and Muhammad Mustafa Matnayan, both aged 24, pleaded not guilty and no bail was set for them. In the June 29 incident, 2 of the men got out of a car and were seen rushing to the petrol station counter before one of them forced the worker at the station with a parang to open up the cash register. The men escaped with 800 ringgit in cash. August 22nd was set for re-mention of the case. Meanwhile, a motivational speaker was charged at the Shah Alam Sessions Court today with using his position to get a bribe through the organising of an educational program 3 years ago. Associate Professor Dr. Muhammad Nur Mahmad, aged 46, who is a lecturer at the Contemporary Islamic Studies Academy of a public university in Shah Alam, pleaded not guilty to the charge and was allowed a 15,000 ringgit bail in one shorty. He is alleged to have used his position as a DM54 grade lecturer to get a bribe for himself by registering Ryan Services Company in the Consultancy Services Registration Form via Integrated Consultancy Systems, ICONS. If convicted, he may be punished under Section 24 of the MACC Act, which provides a maximum jail term of 20 years and a fine not less than 5 times the value of the bribe or 10,000 ringgit, whichever is higher.
When we return, horrifying footage of bungee jumping mishap. Details next. We're back with foreign news. Democrats in the U.S. House of Representatives vowed to push forward their investigations on President Donald Trump. This after former U.S. Special Counsel Robert Mueller claimed victory in 2 high-profile hearings on Wednesday. Court action could come as soon as July 26th, with the Democrats' determination pointing to many more months of digging by lawmakers into Trump, his presidency, as well as private business interests. Mueller's report on his 22-month investigation, which was released in mid-April, found insufficient evidence to allege that the Trump campaign conspired with Moscow in its efforts to help the president get elected in 2016. The report provided no view on whether Trump tried to obstruct Mueller's inquiry. Both issues dominated the hearings, in which Mueller emphasized he had not exonerated Trump of obstruction of justice, as the president has claimed. However, the outlook for impeachment proceedings seemed as remote as ever, even as Trump seeks re-election in 2020. Meanwhile, 3 explosions have rocked Afghanistan's capital, killing at least 15 people and wounding dozens others. The first blast targeted a bus carrying government employees in eastern Kabul at about 8:10 a.m. local time on Thursday, killing at least 8 people and injuring 27 others. According to authorities, the bus belonged to the Ministry of Mines and Petroleum before warning the death toll could rise. Minutes after the blast, a suicide bomber blew himself up a few meters away, killing at least 7 people and wounding 20 others. There were no fatalities in the third blast. The Taliban group has reportedly claimed responsibility for one of the bombings but denied involvement in the other 2 attacks. The armed group has continued to launch daily assaults, mainly targeting security forces, even while holding negotiations with the U.S. aimed at ending the 18-year war. Let's take a break, but coming up, Juventus beats Inter Milan in penalties. Don't go away. Thanks for staying with us. On to business. Lembaga Tabung Haji's net profit rose to 815 million ringgit in the first half of 2019, with an asset surplus of 1.8 billion ringgit. The Pilgrimage Fund attributed the stronger financial performance to its sustainable investment strategy and prudent cost management. In a statement, Tabung Haji said it recorded an income of 1.3 billion ringgit in the first 6 months of this year due to contributions from asset investment, real estates, and Islamic financial market instruments. Tabung Haji's income is expected to increase when it receives the full benefit from Urus Harta Jamaah Sindiran Berhad's Sukuk issued on May 30th this year. Additionally, the shift in the Pilgrimage Fund's investment strategy to more stable investment assets has managed to ease the pressure from the uncertainties in the financial market. As of June 30th, 2019, the Pilgrimage Fund's financial position remained strong, with total assets worth 74 billion ringgit and liabilities worth 72.2 billion. It also said support and confidence from depositors remained strong, with total deposits amounting to 71 billion ringgit as of June 30th. FBM-KLCI gained 4 points to close the day higher at 1,656 points, backed by buying interest in the plantation counter. The benchmark index was lifted by big cap plantation stocks, including Kuala Lumpur Kepung Berhad, IOI Corporation Berhad, and Sime Darby Berhad. Now on to stocks to watch. Loss-making WZ1 Berhad will likely remain in the red until 2020, mainly due to its troubled oil and gas and construction segments. Its legacy loss-making projects for both divisions are expected to hold back a return to profitability in the next 2 years. Now, next, SP Setia Berhad boasts a healthy outlook premised on its strong unbilled sales of some 11 billion ringgit and overseas contribution beginning 2020. Its earnings will be driven by higher sales due to, among others, the stamp duty waiver and inventory clearing efforts. Last but not least, Axis REIT is in for a better revenue contribution in the second half of this year, backed by acquired properties in 2018. The fund is still actively pursuing quality acquisitions with a prime focus on Grade A logistics and manufacturing facilities.